Travis Scott losing his phone in the Gulf of Mexico in the ocean. Maybe you've seen that headline over the past week because he was in a deposition in Texas where the plaintiff attorneys wanted to get his phone to retrieve text messages, images whatsoever that are connected to the 2021 Astroworld Festival incident, but apparently he lost his phone. Today we'll take a look at why he's even being still questioned and why he threw his phone into the ocean. So let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Quick recap: Astroworld Festival, November 5th, 2021. 10 people got killed during that festival. We talked about this a lot. It's not something that I like to talk about. It's just something that I have to bring up again to give some context on this. Thousands were injured as well. That was the reason why Travis Scott was even being charged in the first place. Up until now, charges had been dropped in late June of this year, actually, so we knew that he was kind of freed of the responsibilities of this, even though a trial is still coming in 2024, on May 6th to be exact, so that will be yet another year that has passed since the actual incident, which I don't know how to feel about that, but it is still coming. But for now, it is a deposition in Texas that we're being concerned with because family members of the affected families have now taken their lawyers and taken Travis Scott's lawyers to court to again file a lawsuit over this. And this is all normal procedure. Even Travis Scott's spokesperson, Ted Anastasio, which is an important name that you should remember in the whole conversation about this, he said Travis Scott's deposition is typical legal procedure. What is not typical is how the media continues to focus on him despite being cleared of any wrongdoing by extensive government investigations, including by the Houston Police Department. Travis is fully cooperating with the legal process while still remaining committed to his tour in support of his record-breaking album Utopia and his charitable efforts to support at-risk communities. So this is not something crazy. This is usually what happens, as his spokesperson is saying, but there has been some interesting developments in this deposition that we got to take a look at, like his phone being lost at the bottom of the ocean. Last week, from September 15th to now 18th as well, those depositions were taking place, and one part of that was that the attorneys of the affected families have filed an emergency motion, that is legal names, to get Travis phone records. And it reads, the plaintiff's attorneys from the firms Arnold and Itkin, Roberts, Markland, and Lyons and Simmons filed an emergency motion to compel production of documents and electronic devices such as phones and text messages from Scott, his entity Exit Global Incorporated, and employees including Cactus Jack general manager David Stromberg. The attorneys filed the motion days after deposing Stromberg on September 6th, according to the motion, after Stromberg said in his deposition that he never turned his phone over to lawyers for Travis Scott for imaging. The reason they filed this emergency motion is because that not a single message, WeChat conversation, photo, video, or other message from Mr. Stromberg, Mr. Scott, or anyone on his team's phone has been searched for and reviewed for production. So while the other side, the families, the affected families, have produced a lot of material to support their claim, presented a lot of evidence, Travis' side was rather quiet, not really showing any proof against the claims, against the allegations that they're making. And that is why they wanted to go through Travis' phone to see the records from 2021 to see if he in some way is connected to the events, to the tragedy that happened on November 5th, and if he could be held accountable for those. Now, the interesting part about this is that previously he was also ordered to show his phone, to get messages from there, not in an emergency motion, so that's why this is more urgent. But so far, Scott and XX Global had previously objected to produce those records, citing several different grounds, including that the request was seeking confidential and or sensitive information, and that it was seeking the disclosure of documents that are unreasonably cumulative or duplicative of other of the requests. So even before, they wanted to get Travis' phone to kind of see the evidence on there, but Travis and his team declined because they said it was unnecessary. It's too confidential. It's not really any good for the whole court trial, and that's why they wouldn't produce those. But now with this emergency motion, he's actually obligated to produce those records. And that is when the infamous statement came from Brody on Travis Scott's team, who said that it fell off a boat in January of 2022 and landed somewhere at the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico and is not able to be retrieved. That is the one thing that all those headlines were about that many of y'all read over the past week. And it is actually true. Travis was in Mexico at the beginning of 2022, actually also on January 14th. He was spotted leaving Cabo San Lucas on January 14th, and also in an interview around this time with Wheezy, it was said that Travis was working on Utopia, so it is actually not like completely fake that he wasn't in Mexico around this time. But it's kind of weird that his phone just falls into the ocean like that. Well, the other side isn't stupid. They then remarked that maybe there's other ways to get the information on the phone. They said there does not seem to have been any action from what I am hearing right now taken on the part of Mr. Scott's legal team to either A, secure and download anything from his phone immediately following an event in which 10 people died, or B, trying to recover text messages from alternate sources when Mr. Scott would have the ability to go and get that information, possibly from the carrier or from other sources. Now, this means that maybe there's a backup, there's like carrier information that we got that could produce some sort of material from the phone, even if the physical phone is gone. The other side isn't stupid as well, or maybe they're playing a dirty game, but they said that Scott didn't back up his phone on iCloud over significant hacking concerns, and that the contents of the phone are not going to be retrievable. And while it's unclear what will be missing, those messages on Stromberg's phone, Brody said, would show the vast majority, if not all, relevant texts with Mr. Scott related to this event. So they're saying Travis didn't back up his phone into iCloud or any other service because they're obviously concerned with people hacking his phone, so they just kept everything on there locally, which is now also the reason why it's not going to be retrievable, because if the phone is lost at the bottom of the ocean, all the messages are in there and you can't really get them back. Now, this guy, again, that's why I said remember this name, Ted Anastasiou, he also gave a statement to XXL following all those headlines, and he said Travis Scott and his team have nothing to hide and are cooperating with all ongoing civil legal proceedings. His actions during and after the festival demonstrate that he has done nothing wrong, as does the fact that he and his team were cleared following the investigation by the Houston Police Department. And obviously that's right after the Houston Police Department investigated into this. They even released a 1,300-page summary of this thing right before Utopia dropped. A lot of people saying that they wanted to, kind of sabotage the Utopia rollout. But even after they investigated that, they couldn't find anything and they cleared him of charges. Does that mean he's innocent? Isn't it suspicious that the phone all of a sudden is lost, while before they were ordered to show the phone, they just said that it's unnecessarily an invasion of privacy and they didn't say that from the get-go that it was lost? Kind of suspicious, gotta admit. Probably playing a dirty game right here, but in legal procedures, if there's no ground, if there's no evidence against it, it's honestly just their word. And if the phone is lost, then the phone is lost and there's nothing to do about it. I get how frustrating that might be from the other side, from the people, going against Travis. But I don't know what they could be doing at this point. Obviously, if anything is developing in regards to this case, I'll keep y'all updated, so make sure you stay subscribed. But for now, I want to know what y'all think about this. Do you think that this was intentional from Travis' team, faking throwing this phone into the ocean? Or maybe right before they knew they had to show it, somebody drove off to the Gulf of Mexico and threw it in there, so there's not a complete, fake. Let me know all your thoughts and your theories on what's going on right here in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.